Ukrainian drone attacks struck some of Russia's largest oil and gas production plants, causing major fires and leaving them on standby.
Greenland's future relations with Europe and the world take center stage as elections are going to take place in April, where independence will be the major topic of discussion.
US President Donald Trump threatened to expand his trade war on Sunday, turning his attention across the Atlantic. He told reporters import taxes will, quote, definitely happen with the European Union and possibly with the United Kingdom as well.
UK is out of line, but I'm sure I think that one can be worked out. But the European Union it's an atrocity.
While striking a firm tone with the EU, Trump sounded more conciliatory towards Britain and its new Prime Minister, Keir Starmer.
Well, Prime Minister Starmer's been very nice. We've had a couple of meetings. We've had numerous phone calls. We're getting along very well. And we'll see whether or not we can balance out our budget. With the European Union, it's $350 billion deficit. So obviously something's going to take place there.
Trump's comments came just a day after world leaders in Mexico and Canada ordered retaliatory tariffs on American goods and put a strain on recovering EU-UK relations. Starmer is meeting with EU leaders in Brussels on Monday as he aims to, quote, reset relations with the bloc.
The revival of US President Donald Trump's demand to acquire Greenland has cast a light on long-standing difficult relations between Copenhagen and Nuuk, as well as reignited calls for independence. It's also laid bare the country's importance as a semi-autonomous Danish state, loaded with critical minerals, a highly lucrative fishing industry, and a vital Arctic location. Melina Abelsen is chair of Greenland's largest company, Royal Greenland. It's a state-owned fishing company representing over 95% of Greenland's exports. She says Greenland will work with other countries based on equal footing.
I think the Greenlanders are also very worried. The news poll just came out that also said that no one really wants to be bought by the US. I mean, the whole abrupt way of coming forward and saying that I want to buy Greenland, it's like we're not for sale. We're not playing Monopoly here in this world. Actually, we are people living in here, living in Greenland. So I think the whole way of talking about that is just not the way we would like to talk with an allied partner.
Elections are due to take place in April, where the future of Greenland as an independent state will no doubt take centre stage. However, what's not clear is exactly what independence means and whether the EU is to be invited to play a significant role in Greenland's future. A delegation from the Renew Group in the European Parliament met with members of the government as well as private and public industries and academics. They say Europe will stand by Greenland and respect its citizens' future aspirations.
I do understand the desire to have more autonomy, but I also want to make clear that, I mean, even Denmark, even France, even Germany, no country nowadays can really talk about, we can do everything on our own. We need to stick together. I wouldn't say that Denmark has been letting Greenland down, but probably we have not paid enough attention, and at least I do recognize the fact that, being more eye to eye in the way that we talk together. I do think there's something there to be worked on.
Both the government here in Greenland and the EU are treading carefully when it comes to Trump's demands. They realise that America's overtures to resource-rich Greenland is spurring on the independence movement. Moreover, they're deeply concerned that an ally is threatening to take over territory. Shona Murray, Euronews, Nuuk, Greenland.
Ukrainian long-range drones struck one of Russia's biggest gas processing plants in Astrakhan, Kyiv said on Monday. According to the head of Russia's Astrakhan region, the strike triggered fires at the energy plant. The facility, one of Russia's main supplier of sulfur for explosives, was put on standby. More fires broke out after another attack on Russia's largest oil refineries, the second in 3 days, targeting a major facility in the Volgograd region. The strike disrupted flights from the Volga region to the Caucasus Mountains. Meanwhile, Russian strikes killed one person in the southern city of Kherson and injured 14 over the past day, according to Ukrainian officials. Kherson's military also reported that Russia attacked a passenger bus using drones and injuring 5 people.
At least 19 people were killed and several others injured on Monday when a car bomb exploded on the outskirts of a city in northern Syria. Local defense authorities said the car on the outskirts of the city of Manjib detonated next to a vehicle carrying agricultural workers. According to the emergency officials, the dead included 18 women and 1 man, while around 15 women were wounded in the explosion. There was no immediate claim of responsibility for the attack. It was the second deadly car bomb explosion in the area in 3 days. On Saturday, local media reported 4 civilians were killed and 9 others were injured by a blast in Manjib city center. Manjib in northeastern Aleppo province continues to experience violence even after the downfall of President Bashar al-Assad in December.
As the economic world prepares for war, European leaders have made clear their stance on US President Donald Trump's possible tariff tactic. Speaking before attending an informal security meeting on Monday in Brussels, most heads of state agreed on a united and thorough response to US import taxes.
Klar ist, als starker Wirtschaftsraum können wir selber unsere Dinge gestalten und können auch auf Zollpolitiken mit Zollpolitiken reagieren. Das müssen und werden wir dann auch tun, aber es sollte die Perspektive und das Ziel sein, dass wir so vorgehen, dass es auf Kooperation hinausläuft. Das zu bereden wird ein wichtiger Punkt sein.
Avoidance seemed to be the number one option for most countries.
I think that we have to do everything to avoid this totally unnecessary and stupid tariff wars or trade wars. But at the same time, I think we cannot lose, of course, common sense. We cannot lose the awareness of our interest. But at the same time, we cannot lose our European self-respect and self-confidence.
As Trump moves forward his foreign policy agenda and the war in Ukraine further limits European dependence on Russian gas, Europe is looking to become more economically independent. But at the same time, it will also have to ramp up its defense spending. According to the EU Commission, the bloc needs to invest €500 billion on defense over the next decade.
Shoppers at a supermarket in Pennsylvania reacted to a move by US President Donald Trump to impose tariffs on imports from Canada, Mexico, and China, America's 3 biggest trading partners. His tariffs against Canada and Mexico in order to stop illegal immigration and the illicit fentanyl trade have led to retaliatory taxes by both countries on US imports.
Let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go.
And we'll see. I mean, we still have 4 years to give it a shot.
Try it
and
out.
what? In the next 4 years, they say, no, that's garbage, then get rid of it.
I know that we have a lot of trade with the countries named, especially China, and obviously Mexico and Canada are neighbors, so I have to imagine there's a decent amount of trade there. Tariffs will, inevitably be passed on to the consumer, and I don't think that's what anyone voted for necessarily.
Trump placed an additional 10% tariff on imports from China. He did so without congressional approval and by his own acknowledgement at the chance of some pain in the form of higher inflation, job losses, and worse growth for Americans.
With less than a month until the German elections, MPs are warning that authoritarian states, including Russia, are using disinformation to stoke instability. The German Foreign Ministry identified the doppelganger group of being behind fake news social media accounts in Germany. CSU politician Thomas Erndl confirmed that the government is aware Russia is trying to influence elections in Europe, especially in Poland and in Germany.
Also Russland versucht es massiv. Es wird sicher Auswirkungen haben. Also der Zulauf zur AfD zum Beispiel, der beruht ja genau auf diesen Mechanismen Zweifel an unserem Staat, an unseren Institutionen zu säen, zu verbreiten, dass nichts funktioniert, dass Ausländer und Flüchtlinge ein großes Problem sind.
Euronews requested a comment from the Russian embassy in Berlin regarding the allegations, but received no response before publication.
Und dem muss man von den Institutionen etwas entgegensetzen. Wir müssen uns da noch besser aufstellen. Es gibt da erste Versuche, erste Initiativen, auch im Innenministerium. Wir brauchen mehr Geld, damit diese Institutionen dann auch gut ausgestattet sind. Wir müssen vor allem moderne Technik zum Einsatz bringen, künstliche Intelligenz, die hilft in der Analyse dieser Vorgänge. Aber wir brauchen vor allem auch eine Aufklärung und ein Bewusstsein in der Bevölkerung. Und ich glaube, da haben wir noch einen weiten Weg.
Green politician Konstantin von Notz told Euronews that authoritarian states like Russia and China export democratic vulnerabilities through disinformation.
Die Nachrichtendienste sind auch ein wichtiges Mittel, dieser Einflussnahme entgegenzuwirken. Hier brauchen wir zum einen natürlich eine bessere Ausstattung, mehr Personal, aber vor allem auch mehr rechtliche Befugnisse. Und ich glaube, dass das Pendel wieder etwas zurückschwingen muss auf die Betrachtung der Sicherheitsanforderungen und wir deswegen den Diensten auch wieder mehr Rechte einräumen müssen.
Erndl recommends strong European coordination to tackle disinformation, especially if perpetrators are located abroad. Von Notz criticises both the EU and German Interior Ministry for failing to tackle the problem of disinformation adequately.